Welcome back, guys, and right now we are in the Northern Territory. So we've been here now for 3 days. Yeah, we've been here for 3 days. So we actually got stuck. We were going to do a night at Lake Argyle, and we got there and realised it actually wasn't that interesting for us because we didn't have a boat. You can do boat tours, hire a dinghy, hire canoes and stuff like that, but so basically we just went there for a look, skipped the caravan park, and we're like, oh well, we'll just drive as far as we can get and we'll pull up for the night. So I think we got to the border about 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I think we got to the border about 11 o'clock in the morning, and unfortunately there was an accident on the Northern Territory side of the border, so the road was closed and the guy at the border was absolutely useless. So we ended up parking up there with a few other travellers for about, I think, 5 or 6 hours, and they ended up opening the border about 5 in the afternoon. We were pretty much well set up. We had the chairs out, the awning out and stuff like that from sitting there all day. Thought we'd just spend the night there. It was a free camp. It wasn't a bad spot, so we set up there for the night. Yeah, I'm just having a look at the moment around our little campsite. So we're on Old Stewart Highway is the campsite on Wiki Camps, about 20 k's northwest of Katherine. So we basically stayed the night at the border and got up the next morning, travelled all the way to Katherine. Yeah, so the next day we went and did a little bit of a food shop, had a look around Katherine. We went to the Katherine hot springs, but they were a bit of a letdown. They were very overpopulated, very man-made. They've put stairs in and really cemented all the walls and stuff. There was lots of families and stuff, so especially coming from Kununurra where we were, it was a bit hard to appreciate such a populated area. So we gave that a miss. Yeah, so last night we ended up going to Katherine Gorge campsite, which was $23.50 each for the night. Not too badly priced. I mean, it was a nice place, good showers, had a laundry, had a pool, which was probably the main thing we wanted. We just wanted to kick back for the day. Basically the road is just down that way, and our cars, if you can see them over there, basically parked right on this little river. It's still flowing, doesn't smell too bad. Hopefully the bugs aren't gonna be too bad, that's the biggest worry. And there's heaps of birds and wildlife around, so it's not a bad spot. It's a free camp, which you can never complain with a free camp. I mean, it's better than a gravel pit on the side of the road listening to the trucks all night. So we're just going to set up here for the night. So the day after this, we got up nice and early and made our way into Edith Falls. This was definitely a lot better spot than Katherine Gorge. It had a lot more to offer, with 3 main stops, which this first one here has 2 large waterfalls. You couldn't swim in that lower pool there, but the top one up here was probably our favourite pick. Has a nice big waterfall and a big open swimming area. And luckily we had a school camp that rocked up. Well, it was actually pretty lucky. They rocked up just as we were leaving, so we did have the place mostly to ourselves, and then we made our way up to the next 2 stops. As you can see here, it's not quite the same, but still enough for a swim and probably worth the look if you've got the time on your hands. Unfortunately, Kakadu didn't have a whole lot for us to see, as a lot of it was still closed due to the rains. Alright, well, we just got here to, what's it called? We just got here to Motorcar Creek Falls. We've been here for like an hour and a half and been jumping off every different rock we can find. Got a good waterfall, it's still flowing. We found out this morning that Kakadu, unfortunately, a lot of places are still closed due to high water levels and crocs and stuff, so this was pretty much the only water hole we were told we could swim at. It's about, I'd say, an hour hike to get here, about that. But yeah, definitely worth it. Nice and rainforesty, like you can see over here, it's just nice and green. Like coming from Kununurra and that, it's all dry bush, and now it's like just getting on the rainforest side towards Queensland. So add this to your list. And there is another falls a bit further, but we were told not to worry about it. We're also told that it's pretty good up the top, so we're going to try and get up there now and see how we go. So we ended up staying in Jabiru for 2 nights, as pretty much everything else was closed and we didn't want to stay at any of the higher end resorts. But for a bit of a laugh, as you can see here, I got snagged. We went for a fish here at Cahill's Crossing, and I really didn't want to lose one of my favourite lures, so I jumped in the car and made my way across the river trying to undo the snag. It's a pretty pathetic attempt, and unfortunately I didn't get my lure back, but we did catch a decent sized barra which we had for lunch that day, so it kind of made up for it. We also found that about 2 weeks after we went here, a dog was also taken by a crocodile, and there's also a video going around on the socials of a guy catching a barra and the crocodile coming back to try and take it back. So you've got to be careful in this spot, even though we didn't see any crocodiles here. Leaving Kakadu, we made our way to Humpty Doo and we parked up there for about a week. We had a free place to stay, so we made advantage of that and did a bit of tidying up on the cars. Just enjoyed a bit of time to relax. On the way to Humpty Doo though, we did stop at the Adelaide River jumping crocodile cruises, which I highly rate. $55 for about an hour, even though we're out there for a bit longer than that. And this guy here, his name is Norman. I was actually lucky enough to spot this guy. He was pretty much right in front of the boat and the driver didn't even see him. I managed to point him out and they hadn't actually seen him for a few months, so we got to see him up close and personal here. He was probably a bit under 5 meters, and just to see him up close and personal like this in the wild is a hell of an experience. Definitely beats going to any of the zoos and the crocodile parks, because you get hands on kind of right up close and you can see the size of them when you're sitting, you know, only meters away. So that's definitely something to add to your itinerary. These birds here are members of the raptor clan, and the guy basically just had a bunch of crumbs and fat. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting experience to top off the cruise. We did pass through Berry Springs here, which unfortunately was closed for swimming due to the high water levels as well, but you could still go to the picnic area. That pretty much tops off our NT trip. We did do Darwin and a few other things, but unfortunately with the water levels and crocodiles everywhere, we couldn't do too much. If you did miss our Dundee trip, then there'll be a link at the end of this video, and here's a little teaser from it. Make sure to check that out, because it's full of some interesting stuff and a few nice free camps. So if you want to see that, click the link and make sure you subscribe for more, because we are now in Queensland and there's plenty to see there. So thanks for watching guys, we'll see you on the next one.